Bill Gates. Bill, everybody knows you, everybody knows your background, you are a rock star in technology, and then you retired, you started doing something good. Just tell us, give us a brief overview, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, what is it all about?
Well, I was very lucky in my 20s, 30s, and 40s that I just worked on software and the magic of the personal computer and the internet that grew out of that. I loved that work. But as I learned about the poorest in the world and what their needs were, I saw that just doing technology alone wasn't going to meet their needs. And so I decided that the wealth that I'd been lucky enough to get from the success of Microsoft, I would create a foundation and together with my wife give that all back, and that I needed to learn what was going on in the poor countries and make sure that we took the very best science and generosity and made things a lot more equal than they were. And so I embarked on understanding why so many people in poor countries die and why they don't get enough food to eat and how we can change that.
You traveled the world. We've read that in magazines, read it or saw it on the web. What impressed you most?
Well, there's two ways that you get moved. One is when you go and see a ward full of kids who are dying of malaria, a ward full of kids who are dying of diarrhea, when you see kids that you meet who haven't had enough to eat, so their brain will never develop unless we're getting those health issues, those food issues solved for them. And so you see it on the ground, and you see the tragedy, and then you go and look at the numbers, and you see how widespread it is. And so new vaccines are coming along that take care of most of that. And they're expensive at first. We've got to make sure it gets invented, because nobody's going to do that if it's just for poor kids, if it's not government or philanthropy. And then we've got to get them delivered. But every year, we make progress, and the numbers are clear-cut.
Any setbacks in your work?
Oh, sure. This stuff all takes a lot longer than you'd like it to. I mean, when you go out, I was in Nigeria Monday and Tuesday, and in some of those clinics where you see mothers having to wait, you see cases where the vaccines didn't arrive, you see cases where the refrigerator that's needed to keep it cold isn't functioning. And so you realize that misfunction is going to result in children dying. We can fix this.
One of your ideas is technology should help make the world better, eradicate poverty. Can technology really change everything?
The digital revolution is just at the very, very beginning. In areas like health and education, we still haven't seen the full benefit of what can be done. So yes, technology has been responsible for improving lives in a very dramatic way.
And limitations?
Well, technology often brings complexity. So it's not a purely unadulterated good. So we need to make sure that as technology comes in and gives us all these freedoms, that it's not taking away from those. Technology probably, as we understand it today, can't help us live past, say, the age of 100. At least so far, it can't help us stop from getting obese.
It helped you.
Well, it kept me busy, yeah.
If you look back, all the changes during your lifetime, is there any change you would like to see or you would like to experience?
Well, in my youth, I thought a lot about artificial intelligence and how we can make computers smarter. And slowly but surely, that's happening. A computer that can see and listen. Computers in the years ahead will be able to see better than humans. So the dreams of my youth were about artificial intelligence and smart software. I think I'll see a lot of that in my lifetime. My dreams now in the foundation are about disease, a malaria vaccine, an HIV vaccine. Those are the things that I keep hoping for the big breakthrough as soon as possible.
Let's talk about development aid. Let's talk about the Millennium Goals. What's your opinion on that? Where should that go to? In what direction?
Well, the Millennium Development Goals, there were 8 of them. And the first one was about poverty, to reduce by half the number of people in extreme poverty. That was actually achieved early. Goal number 4 was about childhood death. As I've discussed, over the period they measured, it was cut in half. Now, they set the goal to cut it by 2/3, but even cutting it from 12 million a year, which was 1990, to about 6 million, which is where it'll be at the end, which is 2015, that's quite a phenomenal accomplishment.
You just mentioned funding. We just had the financial crisis since the Lehman crash. What's your opinion on that? I mean, should we, like Germany or the rich countries, do more? I think you met Angela, right? What did you tell her?
There was a goal that many European countries took on of getting their aid levels up to 0.7% of GDP. Germany deserves credit for always being generous, but the level of generosity at this, it's a little below 0.4% right now, is not at that level. And no one expects Germany to jump up overnight, get to that 0.7% level. But I think there is a sentiment that to the degree the European crisis, which Germany did a phenomenal job, making sure that didn't boil over, and that's a huge favor to the world because Europe as a whole, over half the development aid comes from Europe. Now, people rightly say, well, shouldn't your measure not be how much you spend, but the impact you have? And that's fair. Of course, I'm spending all the money I earned is going in. So every day I'm, hiring the best scientists and being very business analytical and saying, how could I spend money to reduce childhood death?
But you did not answer my question how it was with Angela.
Well, I'm immersed in global health. That's my full-time job. And so when I sat down with her, it was an opportunity to update her. Why is the Global Fund viewed as this very successful thing? She cares about Africa, she cares about these issues, and it was an opportunity for her to ask questions and talk about, okay, in her years ahead, will she be able to take time to go to Africa? And of course, she doesn't know what all the challenges will be, but she showed a real interest in these health issues and how Germany can play a very positive role, setting an example for other countries.
Coming back to our topic and technology and improving people's life, is there a specific project that really excited you, would change things?
Digital technology hasn't been in the field in a big way, but given how that's coming down, now is the time to really start thinking about whether it's health or agriculture or good governance, just tracking what's getting done, what's not getting done, thinking about education. The opportunity to take technology even into these places, that over the next 5 and 10 years, it'll begin to be realistic, and we need innovators in that space. At Microsoft, the more popular our product was, that was the key feedback, and to the degree it succeeded, we could hire more engineers, we could fund more research, and so every day we were thinking, okay, why do people like the product? Why do people not like the product? Trying to think ahead to create the best possible product. So we could use income as this key feedback. And in philanthropy, no, you're not, at the end of the day, there's nobody that you're selling to because you're helping, in our case, the people who have absolutely no money. You're making sure that things like creating new seeds, new malaria vaccine is done on their behalf, even though, because they have no money, their voice in the marketplace to command those resources is almost nothing.
But what happens inside you when you do that? There must be some kind of reward. I mean, what happens
inside?
Oh,
it's fun. It's great. I can go back to Africa and go to that malaria ward that was filled with kids, and if bed nets have gotten out there, there's way less kids there. I can go to that ward where all these kids had cholera in Bangladesh, and I can see that the cholera vaccine now has cut those numbers very dramatically. So you get a sense of success in the same way that you see that Windows or Office is selling well. You see that the vaccine's getting out there and those death numbers are coming down. And you get to work with great scientists, and you get to work with people who have devoted their life to working in the field and figuring out why it's hard to get things delivered or building women's groups. So the depth of talent in the sense that, okay, some things work, some things don't, that kind of excitement is very similar. It's just, in this case, helping the poorest.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to Bill Gates.